You're watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Here's your host, Don Ansell.
Autism is our topic of discussion today. Our guests are both involved with this issue. Amanda McCulloch's daughter was diagnosed with a form of autism, Asperger's.
Actually, she was diagnosed PDD-NOS at 2, and then it's a spectrum. So by the time she was...
Translate for our viewers.
Sorry, pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified. You know, quite honestly, no, but it wasn't the A word, so it was more palatable for me.
I see.
You know,
but it is a form of...
It is, it's the umbrella.
I got it.
PDD-NOS is the umbrella, and underneath it you have Asperger's, autism, Rett's, ADD, I mean,
And our other guest is a specialist that's worked in the field for, it's hard to believe that you've worked in the field for over 30 years, but Dr. Ruth Hurst, thank you both. All right, so it was staggering for me to read these new statistics that 1 in 100 children are now diagnosed with autism. Is that because we have better diagnostics now, or more children are actually becoming autistic? Do we know?
Well,
all
I wish
we did
potentially all of the above.
Yeah.
We do think that there is better recognition in terms of children who should be identified as being on the autism spectrum than there ever has been before. There is better awareness, and organizations all over the country and national organizations are helping to push so that pediatricians and physicians and psychologists are more aware. So that's part of it, and I'm sure of my personal opinion is that that's part, but I think there are other issues as well that we obviously are concerned about in terms of...
I mean, is it possible that it has always been like this and we just didn't... When you started out 30-some years ago in this field, it was like...
Well, I can give you a first-hand account. When I began working at a large state institution in Iowa, where there were about 600 people living at the time, I believe when I began working there were about 2 people who were diagnosed with autism. And after a few years, I became director of psychology there, and I asked the psychologists to read the diagnostic criteria for autism and then go and tell me among their caseload who they thought might fit these criteria. Most of the people there.
Really? But at the when you first entered the center, it was like 2.
Yeah,
out of 600.
Right, and I think that at that time it was just not a diagnosis of currency. People didn't understand it, but as we know, the better we understand this diagnosis, the more it's informed, helped us guide our treatment.
And this 1 in 100 are those that are diagnosed. How many are not diagnosed? How many parents don't recognize symptoms? What are some of the treatment options?
Well, and I have to say, Wilmington is just a treasure chest. I mean,
of resources?
Oh my gosh. My daughter has received therapy and treatment that many people would have to go out of state to get. First of all, Katie went to TEACH, T-E-A-C-C-H, which is an internationally respected organization based in at UNC. And they have this wonderful structured education program, play program, and so Katie went there and learnt.
Could you see progress?
I saw progress immediately because it was impossible to get Katie to go from one thing to another thing without a huge tantrum. And they helped her at 2 transition from here to there. It was amazing. Then she started speech therapy, occupational therapy, and at the same time, again, we're blessed in Wilmington. We have a DAN doctor, Defeat Autism Now, Dr. Karen Haram, and Katie started biomedical intervention. She went onto a strict diet.
I see.
And that helped enormously. I mean, I have to say, the day that I removed milk from her diet, a girl that had not looked at people in the eyes, hadn't done many things that she had done, in her first year. She started to wave again, blow kisses again.
Right when you...
The day after I removed milk.
Oh, I'm going to have to move this along because I've got so many more questions. We could spend the entire program on just diet, but are there cases where children just grow out of it and recover without any real explanation?
The way I would answer that is that if that would happen for a child, then they did not have autism in the first place.
And I don't hear too much discussion about autism in adults it's children we hear about.
Those children are going to become adults, though. And
Yeah, well,
so-
has there been any research that's followed a child with autism into adulthood?
No, but that is an area, well, I shouldn't say no, but because there are accounts of that. However, the research literature is not very clear in this area at this point, and that's actually an area of interest of mine in my research, and trying, at this point, I'm looking at personality, what does an adult with Asperger's disorder look like? What is their personality like? What are the boundaries of their functioning? Where do they do well? Where do they have more difficulty?
I'm going to have to, I want to talk about this event that's coming up on Saturday, this coming Saturday.
The 27th,
Yeah,
yes.
This is a huge autism awareness symposium. It's happening at the Warwick Center.
Yes.
Can you helped organize the event,
yes,
and really the
myself.
driving force behind it.
I helped, and one of our speakers is Dave Spicer. Now, he is, I don't know, probably in his 40s. He learned that he was autistic because he had his son diagnosed. And this is rather interesting.
This
going
is a
back to-
father who's autistic, and his son is autistic.
Yes, and he realized that he was autistic.
He's very functioning, though, high
He
functioning.
is, yes he is, yes he is.
So you can, an adult, we have like 30 seconds.
Okay.
This is open to the public.
Open to the public, please come.
It's this Saturday, what time?
It starts at 8 o'clock.
And
We
how
have
would folks get tickets?
just come along to the Warwick Centre or call me, 297-1815, 297-1815.
And it's open to the public, and it's a full day.
It's a full day. Dr. Ruth Hurst will be speaking, Jake Greenspan, wonderful
Great.
speakers all day long, Dave Spicer in the evening, the film The Horseboy. and
We
just
could do a whole
full-
show on
yeah.
that film. We're out of time. Thank you so much. Next week, we're going to talk about the failed UNCW basketball program. Brian Mull, who is a Star News reporter and has some strong opinions on it, will be our guest. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week. I'm Don Ansell for Byline Wilmington.
You've been watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Join us every Sunday morning at 11 as we explore the issues that concern you.